Hi folks, here we are with RPG Maker VX Ace, and what we're going to learn in this tutorial is how to start to make a switch on our map. So this particular tutorial is actually going to be broken into 3 tutorials. So our full switch will not work until we've completed our 3rd tutorial. So step 1 of our tutorial is we're going to quickly build a map. So we'll say new project. I'm leaving all that as a default, and he's on water, so I'm going to go map, and I'm going to take the rectangle and the grass and give him some land to walk on, and there we go. Now, in order to create a switch, which is an on-off condition, where on makes something happen and off doesn't make it happen. It's like a light on in your house. You switch it on to turn it on, and you switch it off to turn it off. So that's what a switch does in the game. So you could probably use a switch for any number of reasons where you kind of want an on-off condition. In our case, in this tutorial, we'll make a secret entrance appear. So part 1 of this is to just get the button that is the off switch. So what we do is we go to the little man to get the event mode going, and that's F6 on your keyboard. You'll know it because of the grid, and we'll make a switch right here. So what we're going to do is, I've just highlighted that cell. I'm going to go on the right mouse button, click, and I'm going to go new event. Now anytime we've done an event in the past, we've gone to a quick event creation, and we've done this transfer. But here we're going to go to the new event, and the reason is we've got to become acquainted with this dialog to help us along with switches. So the name of this event is switch off on, and the first tab is the off condition, and we're going to create a new tab for the on condition. So we're going to deal with the off condition in this tutorial. So we're going to deal with the first tab. The switch is not on, so we're going to leave this condition alone, and we don't need to worry about any of these other items. We're going to come down here to this checkerboard, this graphic checkerboard, and we're going to double click with our left mouse button. And down into these files are a bunch of graphics you could use, but we're going to go right down to the bottom, and we're going to go to switch 1. And we're going to use this green up button for the off and this green down button for the on. So I'm going to grab the off button, which is where the button is up, and now I've put that as my graphic button. I'm leaving all of this autonomous movement area where it says fixed and 3 times 2 slower and 3 normal. I'm not touching that. However, I know I'm going to walk on this graphic, so I'm going to say the priority is below the character's feet, so below the characters, and I'm going to say that the character has to walk on it, so he has to touch it. In the options, just make sure that this one is checked, walking animation, and these are not checked. And then up in the contents, you can highlight that with the left mouse button and then the right mouse button to insert a content. And the content we're going to add is an event command, and we're going to say show text. So what are we going to do? We're going to say you have stepped on a button that reveals a secret entry. And we're not going to change any of the other information on here. I do want to point out that there's these inverted triangles right up, just to the right of this A on the top here. These inverted triangles, if your text goes over that, it could potentially run into a problem on displaying your text in your game. So what I tend to do is I hit the return key and just type on a second line. So I never run the risk of something forcing this to shift off past these points and get cut out in my display. So you have stepped on a button that reveals a secret entry, and I'm going to say OK. And this was the off condition. So basically when the player comes and steps on it, because remember the player is going to touch it, then we're going to get a text box that comes up that says you've stepped on a button that reveals a secret entry. And the other thing we like in games is sometimes we like sound effects. So we've got another one set up here. This is automatic. We're going to pick this @ sign. We're going to double click there, or single click with the right mouse button, hit insert, and we're going to go to the second page of the event commands, and we're going to go over to music and sounds, and we're going to go play sound effect. That's what SE is. And down in here we've got one that's called jump. There's jump 1 and jump 2. If you want to know the difference between the two, just play them. I'm picking jump 1, that works for it. And I'm just going to leave all the volume and pitch the same. And I'm going to say OK. So now I've got two things happening with the off button. When the player steps on it, he's going to get some confirmation that he stepped on the button. And when he moves off the button, it's going to make a sound effect to show that he actually stepped on it. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create the situation. So we're going to go to this other @ sign. We're going to go insert. And what we're going to do here is we are going to go to page 1 of the event commands, and we're going to look at these control switches, because this is a switch, if you remember, right? So we're going to come down here. We're going to give our switch. Sorry, I probably should do that again. We're going to click on these ellipses here, because this is switch 1. We only have one switch. And we're going to come down and we're going to give it a name. On. Maybe we'll call it button on. That's a little bit better than on. Button on. And we're going to say apply. OK. So our switch is now button on, and the operation is on. He steps on it. We want the button on. And so we're saying that. So he comes along. He steps on it accidentally. He gets text coming up on the screen, and a sound effect when he steps off of it, and the control switch moves from off to on. That's exactly what we want. So that's part 1, and I'm going to say apply and OK, and we've done part 1. There's our switch in the up position. Now what we're going to do is move it to the next video, which will be getting it to go to the down position. So this is step 2 we're going to move to next video.